Guys, good morning. I'm in the morning sun. This is my favorite thing. Y'all already know. The juggling, okay? When I'm looking at the camera and I'm not looking at my hands or the balls, I'm using my peripheral vision. Peripheral vision is super cool, right? Because you could be looking one way, but you can see out the corner of your eye, right? So I actually have been training this peripheral vision for a very long time, and I like the crossover. So if you can understand this juggling, this scenario right here, I explain the training really quick too, and how this could help you control your hormones a bit better, and how you can be a little bit more empowered in your physical vessel, because you are super strong and super powerful. I don't know you, I don't know how old you are, but I know you're strong as heck. And I know that you're capable of getting your health back on track if you wanted to do so. So when I'm looking at my peripheral vision here, when I'm looking at the camera, this is the same thing with training the nervous system, using the muscles of the nervous system. When we use the muscles, so just to start, central metabolism, brain, spinal cord. So brain and spinal cord, that is my central nervous system, central, right? In the center. Okay. Then we have the peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system is everything outside of that. So it's my arms, my legs, everything outside of the brain and the spinal cord is considered my peripheral nervous system. So my journey with my mental health and everything was to communicate, to get these two to be more in sync, the central and peripheral nervous system, because if you're out of whack with your hormones, if you're out of whack with your health, you're out of whack with these two little things. You need to be in better communication. Everything is better when the communication is clear, right? So when I train and I use my muscular system, I am communicating directly with my central nervous system, right? A lot of times when people get diagnosed with mental health disorders, so it feels relieving at first to get diagnosed with that, because you don't know what's going on for a really long time, and then it feels like you're finally validated when somebody tells you that you have depression. I know, because I was there. But this is it's not so empowering, because we have this idea that we have this chemical imbalance, right? If you can be chemically imbalanced, you can be balanced, right? Those two things exist together. You don't have an imbalance without a balance to be had. Oh, Lord, we're gonna be having some resilience this morning. But when I communicate with my peripheral nervous system, right, when I train my peripheral nervous system, I'm communicating directly with my brain. I'm communicating with the center of my brain, right? The brain, I'm standing in the sun right here, okay? The sunlight right now is going through my pupils. It's hitting an area of the brain called the suprachiasmatic nuclei. It doesn't really matter. All this stuff is like just fancy words. But what's happening is that my body is sending this top-down signal from my brain out into my peripheral nervous system. So if you were to not only use this top-down regulation, but to start physically training and putting muscle in your body, moving, you'd be doing top-down regulation, signaling in your body for your hormones, and then training, you would do bottom-up regulation. Because when I'm training my peripheral nervous system, I'm going to be communicating with my central nervous system. This is why they say exercise is so healthy, you should do it. This is the main reason, if you guys know Alzheimer's, dementia, it's kind of like a decaying of the brain, so the brain just kind of like fades away, that gray and that white matter. But if you maintain your physical strength throughout the aging process, you'll maintain your memory better, right? You maintain your brain, your cognitive function better. It's because of your physical, your peripheral nervous system. We can maintain the strength of the central nervous system, right? The brain and the spinal cord for a longer period of time. I mean, our average lifespans should easily be, with all the knowledge that we have, we should easily be sitting at 115 for an average lifespan. And you have to ask yourself the question, why is our lifespan decreasing, you know? Because it is, and our Alzheimer's dementia rates are creeping up at a younger and younger age, because Alzheimer's dementia, once you start having symptoms, that has been decades of a process. because insulin resistance, especially in the brain, it's an everyday thing, right? This is why I'm getting up and getting in the sunlight every single day, because hopefully over time, I'm trying to get my vitamin D levels up, trying to do a little bit of healing from a few months that I had where I was not in my normal routine. So you can communicate with your brain and your spinal cord, right? So if you have a mental health disorder, it's also just a metabolic disorder, meaning that you need to start either doing your research about the mitochondria or just start listening and doing a few things different that can feed the mitochondria, because we need these babies to roll. If you are having problems with your health, you're having problems with your hormones, it is almost like 90% positive that you are struggling with mitochondrial functioning. We just know this. Mitochondria are responsible for like 75% of our energy. It's the final stage of cellular respiration. So it does take energy to create energy, right? They say it takes money to make money. While that might not always be the case, it's important to put these amino acids and fatty acids in our diet. If you don't have these things in your diet, you don't have our basic nutritional standards. Like, we have basic needs, and I would say that these basic needs, when you go and you look up what the standard is for getting in these nutrients, the basic is pretty low. That's pretty average for our depletion rate that we're seeing now. So depletion rate is due to other things like the Wi-Fi and the cell phones, and just in general, like, we're dumping boatloads of energy out just being on social media and taking in everybody else's stuff. So it's so important to have enough of the basic foundation in your life. Morning sun. And it's super cool, guys. My mom, she has this tomato plant, and she was talking to my grandpa. My grandpa grew tomatoes for like years, and she was like, how do I get this tomato plant to be, the most successful? What did he say? He said, put it in the morning sun. My papa, I love my papa, such a smart man. The morning sun is beautiful. These rays coming from the morning sun are slower, like this. They are healing. They go slower, and they go straight through our bodies, straight through the skin, right? The skin is a protective layer to the sun, but it goes and communicates directly to our cells, to our mitochondria specifically. So in the morning, this is the most powerful time to be in the sunlight. So you're also starting your biochemical cascade for the entire day. Like, I'm already breaking down tryptophan in my body, right? You have problems with digestion, you're not doing too well on that route. I'm already digesting right now. Because if my mitochondria are rolling, my body is basically eating, fueling itself. But putting it in the morning sun, there's something to be said about it, right? Plants go through a process called photosynthesis, right? They're able to capture the solar energy through their chloroplasts. So their chloroplasts turn green, right? They hold chlorophyll. And our bodies are the same way. They have chloroplasts, we have mitochondria. So ours is a wee bit more complex because we have kinetic energy involved, but we can also use chemical energy. So our mitochondria also, capture this light. They capture this light and they exude light. So my mitochondria are being stimulated by the sun. They're releasing electrons. This produces heat and energy, right? My body's getting a little bit hotter, right? My energy is expanding. So this is just the basic foundations of health, is like light exposure, right? For plants and for animal cells. And it's free. So, why not? Vitamin D acts more like a hormone. Every single cell in the body needs it. And if you go look at any disease whatsoever in the world, vitamin D levels are low. So if you're trying to get your health back on track, maybe you don't have a good motivation to get up in there in the gym. Maybe you can't do it. Maybe you can't stay away from the sweets. I've been there. When you have gut populations of bacteria that are begging you to go eat the Ben and Jerry's, I've been there. They do that. and you need to be able to outsmart them somehow. How do I get these unhealthy populations of bacteria out and I repopulate with these good bacteria? If you don't want to work out, start going in the morning sun. Working out is the most powerful thing you could possibly do. Muscle is the most powerful thing for your hormone health you could possibly do, put on your body ever. It's the organ of longevity, our largest endocrine organ. It's going to be your largest skin health organ. So it's your largest immune function. If you're talking about skin health, you're really just talking about the immune system. So if you have problems with your skin, you have problems with your immune system, you need to figure out how to feed that immune system. If you have an autoimmune issue, if you have been struggling with inflammation, your body, your immune system has been working time and a half, and you probably haven't been paying it enough. You've probably been paying it maybe 75%. That's generous, right? Because most people don't have an amino acid, fatty acid diet. So we need to keep feeding the body as much as it's been working for us. And if you've had an inflammation or an autoimmune issue for a long time, it's gonna take time to refeed. Like, you take time periods out where you're not eating the sugars and the processed oils, you're putting all these amino acids in, getting plenty of hydration, plenty of rest, and you're able to heal. And the morning sunlight's able to help you do that. We know this. So, and it's a beautiful time. It starts off the day. People with depression shy away from light. We know this from depression studies. So, like in mice who have higher levels of cortisol and are showing signs of depression, they'll shy away from the light in the cage. So it's a feedback cycle. It's always a feedback cycle. When I went through my depression before, I just wanted to be in bed, take the long depression naps, right? Now, instead of taking the depression naps, I go outside in the sun because depression doesn't like sunlight. Depression and energy is like a darkness. Sunlight is free energy. So if you have depression, you go out in the sun, you're battling your depression right there. Free energy, okay? Depression doesn't like sunlight. It doesn't like healthy foods. It doesn't like the amino acids and fatty acids. It doesn't like it. It doesn't like good sleep at night. It doesn't like exercise, right? When we get depressed, we don't want to move. It's a feedback cycle. So we stop moving, we start staying more inside. We have unhealthier populations of gut bacteria asking us, getting us more cravings, go eat this, and it's a feedback cycle. So as long as you know to do something different, right? The only difference between me at 20 and me now at 27 is I know that my depression does not like sunlight. So if I started feeling a little bit wonky, I'd be going out in the sun. I go out in the sun anyway, you know? Gotta get that vitamin D, collagen production, everything like that, right? Skin health, muscle health. And so I spend a lot of time doing this research, and it's been a long time, a lot of years that I've done this, a lot of experiments that I've done over long periods of time. And so if you like this video, if you found it helpful, first please like, share, and subscribe. But if you ever feel like you want to donate, I'm going to start putting my Venmo down in the link below. So like any amount is super, super helpful. I try to spend my money pretty well, put it back into the business, put it back into the research, so help me buy more books, and give me more time to read and learn. That's what I use my money for right now, is to create time to read more, learn more, and hopefully create more content that's helpful, because we gotta get this strength. This 2024 is a process of becoming stronger within our physical vehicles and reconquering our digestion. I truly believe it. So if you need, if you got somebody around you who needs to hear this, please share it with them. So as always, good luck.